Welcome to your astro and tarot forecast for the week of February 9th through February 15th. I'm going to start with our astrological breakdown for the week, highlighting the major transits that we're experiencing, and then we'll get into our usual 3-card tarot spread at the end. Before I dive in, I want to mention it is a full moon week, and for those of you who don't know, I also do full moon audio readings over on my Patreon, and they're really rich. They also include a deep breakdown of the astro weather, ritual tips, reflection questions, and a deeper, richer 3-card tarot spread for my patrons only, tarot reading that is. And they're fun, they're supportive, and it's a good way to tune into the celestial weather twice a month if you're interested in going deeper. So the link is down below. Okay, let's get into our astrology for the week of the 9th through the 15th. So I'm recording this on Sunday, and as I speak, we're in the hours after our Mercury Cazimi. Mercury Cazimi means Mercury-Sun conjunction. Cazimi is another word for a conjunction with the sun. And so when we have a conjunction, we have two celestial bodies that are temporarily merging at the same degree of the same sign. And that unites their energy and creates this sort of blended experience. And in the case of a Cazimi with the sun, there's a sense of illumination around the themes of the planet it's merging with. And so in this case, that's Mercury. So at 20, almost 21 degrees of Aquarius, we have the sun and Mercury meeting and converging to create a moment of illumination and awareness. Maybe the desire to talk more, to absorb more mentally. The sun is about our vibrancy, our energy, our vitality, and our expression, whereas Mercury is about the way that we learn, communicate, integrate information. And when those two things blend, we get this surge of energy and possibly a desire to speak more, to learn more, to connect more. Mercury is often associated with friends, and so sometimes that might look like connecting socially with people and feeling that desire to really kind of dip in. I would use it to your advantage. If you're listening to this, even after Sunday, there's still a lingering after effect of this Cazimi. And it's a good time to advocate for something, to make your voice heard, to speak up and offer your voice to something that you care about, something that matters. Later in the day, actually just an hour after that was exact, we also experienced Mars in Cancer, currently retrograde, forming a trine to Saturn in Pisces. And so Mars is connected to our desires and often our sort of animal desires, like what our bodies want. It can be a planet that compels us to rage at times. And in the sign of Cancer, where it's technically in fall, there's a serious protectiveness and this desire to sort of hold things close to the chest to protect them, especially those that we care about and especially our own tender parts. And with Mars forming a trine to Saturn in Pisces, which is often considered a harmonious aspect, there's 120 to 20 degree angle between the planets, and there's a natural flow of energy that occurs between them. And that's extra true when we're dealing with water planets. But we are looking at two malefics, technically, Mars and Saturn, which can be heavy hitters and have more of a charge and an intensity and sometimes drama or pain attached to them. But when we have this trine active, there's this sense of reinforcement. Like it feels like martial material is getting activated, and we have this opportunity to put some heft behind it, to kind of put our backs into it. This can be kind of a sexy transit, in my opinion, and there's a sense of longevity and endurance there that you might want to tap into if that's relevant for you. But generally, it's like, what do I want and how can I put myself into that? And you're getting backing from the planets in that regard. So if there's something you've been wanting to do, to pursue, to take action on, this would be a really good transit to harness in order to take some action, especially if you felt stalled in that regard. On Monday, February 10th, the moon enters Leo, which is building us up to our full moon in Leo, which occurs on Wednesday. Later that day, Mercury forms a square to Uranus. So Mercury in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus, which is now direct. This transit can be disruptive. It can be interruptions in communication and even technology, and feeling like we just can't quite like get a handle on what's happening. Like the conversation has sort of run away with itself, or there's a lot of distractions coming in that are pulling our attention and our focus away from what we want to focus on. That could be annoying. It could be irritating. It could be activating or cause some anxiety. It can also be exciting, and it can bring in a sense of innovation and an opportunity to kind of puncture the veil of normalcy and do something differently. So that might mean communicating in a new way, or even opening up to new insights and new information. It could bring aha moments, but it's very likely to bring disruptive communication. So I would pay attention to that and be mindful of the fact that people are probably moving at a faster clip than usual, feeling impatient, and that's likely to impact you and even come from you as well. The next day, we experience then the sun forming a square to Uranus. And so the sun is closely trailing Mercury, so it's going to form the same aspects to the same planets. And with the sun square Uranus, it feels like that sort of activity and frenetic energy and desire to even rebel or to do something differently is now showing up more in our own energy. The sun is more personal. And so it's our desire to maybe push up against boundaries or to defy norms or to do something that feels even a little bit reckless, or let's just say rebellious. And that might look confronting power. That might look like doing something that defies the existing structures. And this, speaking of, on the heels of this Mercury Sun Cazimi, it could be a really good time to use your voice to advocate for those who need it and for the causes that really need it. Later that day, just an hour after that, we experience Mercury forming a trine to Black Moon Lilith. I'm not going to go super deep on this, but Black Moon Lilith is in Libra. And this Mercury trine can cause us to want to kind of peel back the layers and get into some like ishy-gushy, deep, even shadowy material. Look at the underbelly, and it also is activating that sense of rebelliousness and maybe a desire to fight for liberation. That feels really emphasized this week. This liberatory energy is flowing through us, and that can cause us to be more impulsive at times, especially with Uranus in the picture here. But with this Lilith trine, there is this opportunity for us to kind of see through the veil and to maybe, again, confront power or to use our voice for good, especially to advocate for those whose bodies are currently being policed and harmed. Lilith is often kind of seen as like a reclaimed feminist symbol, and so that could be relevant here too. On Wednesday, February 12th, we experience our full moon in Leo. And so this full moon chart, I will go deeper in our Patreon reading. And again, the link is down below if you want that. It'll be live in the next couple days. But this full moon in Leo is exact on Wednesday at 24 degrees of Leo. And so the sun is still in Aquarius and the moon is in Leo. They're opposite one another. And both luminaries and Mercury, also in Aquarius, are forming 90-degree angles to Uranus, right? So we have all this Uranus action. I've already mentioned some of this stuff, and it's very, very up in this full moon chart. And again, I will go deeper on Patreon, but know that this is a peak moment throughout the week. So Wednesday, emotions are likely to feel high, energy is likely to feel high and even volatile at times. This T-square is the biggest feature of this chart, and it is loud. So again, like, what can you do to kind of move that energy out of you and into something that might feel generative? A Leo full moon is very creative and can be quite playful and fun. And so tapping into those energies might help you soothe some of the more intense energy that can feel a little rattling. Later that day, the moon enters Virgo. And then the next day, Thursday, February 13th, the sun forms a trine to Black Moon Lilith. And so again, we just had that Mercury trine, and now same pattern, we have our sun trine. And so this feels hot to me. Like a sun Black Moon Lilith trine feels hot, and it feels like rebellious hot. Like I'm wanting to like get into my body. And so you might be feeling that this week. You might be feeling a little bit more feisty. You might be feeling a bit more spicy. And I would personally ride that wave if that speaks to you. This could be a really beautiful day for naming your desires and for opening up to them. On Friday, February 14th, happy Valentine's Day for celebrating, Mercury enters the sign of Pisces. Mercury is technically in fall or in detriment in Pisces, and that is interesting. I love Mercury in Pisces, but it's a major shift from Aquarius, which can be a more detached, fixed air, into mutable water, which is much more ethereal and emotional and spiritual. And so we go from maybe intellectualizing into really sensing. And you could notice a shift in what you want to talk about, what you want to connect with other people about, what you want to learn about, what you want to listen to. Maybe it's moving from listening to like a heady podcast and into like a really vibey playlist, or moving into like wanting to paint or move or dance or dream or write poetry. Like Mercury in Pisces can be a very poetic placement. And so I would harness that. I would take advantage of it and understand that communication is likely to be less linear, far less linear, like the opposite of linear, and much more fluid. And so depending on your chart and your preferences, that's going to hit you differently. You might love it, you might hate it, or somewhere in between. But I'd really encourage you to make space for the fluidity of communication and information, and to not hold too tightly to the facts or to specific, like tangible things, but to make space for more of the feeling, the emotion, and even the spiritual nature of what it is that you're consuming and listening to and talking about. On Saturday, February 15th, the moon then enters Libra. And that is the final big transit of the week, or ingress of the week. And now we're going to move into the tarot. So if you've never watched one of my tarot readings before for our just weekly forecasts, I do the same structure each week. Our anchor card, which is like our overall energy, our challenge, a challenge we might face collectively, personally, or both, and then a gift, which is something that we can take advantage of, harness, or step into this week that could be quite delicious. Our anchor card for this week is these are out of order, is the Three of Cups reversed. So the Three of Cups is a Cancer card. And I want to mention we have all 3 Cups cards this week, which feels really significant. There are a lot of feels, a lot of emotions, and a lot of emotional energy and water energy that's flowing around us. It feels pretty delicious to me because I'm someone who loves water, but it can feel like a lot. It can feel like drowning at times, and emotionally, metaphorically. And with the Three of Cups reversed, this might be showing up specifically in our friendships, in our communities, in our connections. There can be a sense of like emotions kind of getting on us, and maybe projections that are causing some ruffled feathers or disharmony in our connections. And so I would try to back away from drama this week. It might be hard. A Leo full moon squared by Uranus is peak drama energy. And I'm just saying it so that you know this, and not so that you try to like suppress stuff or ignore it, but just be aware that drama is likely to flare up this week, if not with you, with other people, or just collectively, right? There's a lot going on in the world at this moment. And so not all readings are about us personally. Some of them, a lot of them, are reflecting the bigger vibe and the bigger stuff that's happening that then trickles down and impacts us. And so this could be that, but this could also be personal. It could be that you are experiencing disharmony with people in your life. You are maybe feeling more uneasy, or just having to work through the discomfort of conflict. And if conflict comes up, can you stay in integrity? Can you back away from mean-spirited gossip or just the unnecessary stuff that overcomplicates everything and that causes harm? This is a week to try. It might be hard, but it is the week to try. Our challenge this week is the Seven of Cups. So this is a Scorpio card, and the Seven of Cups can feel at times like emotional overwhelm. Again, it can feel like we have a ton of options at times, and some of them might be great, some might be kind of leading us astray, and there's often an element of illusion or fantasy that's baked into the Seven of Cups. So because this is showing up as our challenge, it feels like staying with reality and staying grounded this week is a challenge. We might be tempted to go really deep into fantasy mode, which can be delicious, but might take us to places that aren't great for us. And that can look like dissociative habits that are harmful to ourselves, or that just kind of, take us deep out to sea. So I would watch out for that. And I would also practice the grounding activities and methods that keep you feeling more stable. It's gonna be hard. This is the challenge this week, and it is a Uranian week. And so staying grounded is not exactly in the cards for us, but you can try, and you can do what helps you ease or relax or soothe your nervous system and come back to your body. Finally, our gift is the beautiful Two of Cups. I love this for Valentine's Day. It's really sweet. So for some of you, this might be quite straightforward. If you're partnered, or if you're single, or something in between or all over, it feels like there's beautiful connection that's in store for us this week. And so where we do have this disharmony that's showing up, probably from like Monday through Wednesday especially, it feels like there's delightful connection that's on the horizon too. And this is like a soothing balm. It's like connecting with someone where you feel really tuned in and really at ease, and like there's genuine adoration between you. So this could be two people. It could be connecting with someone you care about or even love. It could be platonic. It could be spending beautiful time with yourself, with your dog, with your plants. But often the Two of Cups is about people connecting lovingly with genuine affection and care. And there's a sense of coming together and really feeling held and seen. So if you see that opportunity, if you experience that opportunity, I would seize it absolutely. If you have people who are inviting you to do things, to catch up, to connect, if you need to like mend a bridge, later in the week might be a good time to do that too, to reconnect and really linger in the beauty and magic of connection. That's all I have. I hope that is supportive. As always, if you get benefit from these videos, please do like, comment, subscribe, share. And again, if you want more, and if you want my full moon reading, which comes out this week, you can find the link below. Have a good one.